Hello everyone, welcome back to ClickHeads. My name's Eddie and today we're going to be covering patch notes 4.04. Now Riot refer to this patch note as largely cleaning house, but there's actually quite a few impactful hero changes and an almost complete rework to Icebox. So I'm not going to waste your time and I'm going to give you the TLDR right now. The controller role is getting quite a lot of attention with changes to Omen, Brim, Viper and Astra. Now the full article to all these changes and the reasons why Riot made them is linked below in the description. So if you want to know why Riot made these changes, I highly suggest you go and check that article out. As for now, we're going to blast right through them. Sound good? Good. Omen, dark cover, cooldown decreased from 40 seconds down to 30, cost increased from 100 to 150, and its projectile speed has been increased from 2,800 up to 6,400. Shrouded Step has had its cost decreased from 150 down to 100, and its pre-teleport delay has been decreased from 1 second down to 0.7 seconds. Paranoia has also had its spawn offset, so players adjacent to Omen are not hit by his flash anymore, which is a great change. Next up is Brimdad. His Sky Smoke deploy time has been decreased from 2 to 1 second, its deploy radius has been increased from 5,000 up to 5,500, and the smoke height has been increased to match the other controllers. And Stim Beacon now also applies a 15% speed boost in addition to rapid fire. Jet knives for everyone! Next up is arguably the most powerful controller character in the game, and that's Astra. There's quite a few changes here, so I'll rattle through them as quickly as possible. Stars. So Astra's max stars have been reduced from 5 to 4. The cooldown on retrieving a star has been increased from 14 to 25 seconds. Astra can now pick up play stars during the buy phase to refund their charge immediately. And the max distance of star placement has been increased from 10,000 to 30,000 to allow her to play stars across the furthest corners of the maps. Gravity Well has had its cooldown increased from 25 seconds up to 45. Gravity Well size has been decreased from 525 down to 475, and Gravity Well no longer affects anyone fully underneath the Gravity Well. Nova Pulse has had its cooldown increased from 25 to 45 seconds, and Nova Pulse no longer affects anyone fully underneath Nova Pulse. We're seeing a trend here. Nebula has had its cooldown increased from 14 to 25 seconds. Nebula cooldowns are now sequential instead of simultaneous, and Nebula size has been increased from 410 to 475. Now, while Astra is in her astral form, pings are no longer blocked by level geometry that Astra cannot see. Astra's targeting ring in astral form is reduced to 1 ring that reflects the now unified size of all of her utility. And also that targeting ring no longer randomly disappears when aiming across some map locations, and they've increased the speed of the overlay that covers Astra's screen when transitioning in and out of astral form. And they've also fixed an issue where stars were placed slightly above the location Astra was trying to target. Now let's move on to a character that really is a bit of a controller and sentinel hybrid, and that's Viper. Her fuel drain has increased 50% when Toxic Screen and Poison Cloud are both active. Viper's fuel bar now turns red when she does not have enough fuel to activate her abilities. Toxic Screen has had its cooldown after deactivating increased from 6 to 8 seconds. The cooldown timer now starts when her smoke starts dissipating instead of when the deactivation telegraph plays. The deactivation delay has been decreased from 1 second to 0.08. Toxic Screen now has yellow lights that indicate when it's on cooldown, and they've removed the delay on Toxic Screen disabling when Viper is suppressed. They've also added a unique voiceover line that plays when her smoke is disabled by suppress. The Poison Cloud cooldown after deactivating has been increased from 6 to 8 seconds. The cooldown timer now starts when her smoke starts dissipating instead of when the deactivation telegraph plays, just like Toxic Screen, and the deactivation delay has been decreased from 1 second to 0.08. Poison Orb now has a yellow light to indicate when it's on cooldown, just like Toxic Screen, and they've added another unique voice line to that ability that plays when her smoke is disabled by suppression. Snakebite has had its duration decreased from 6.5 seconds down to 5.5. YORU is up next, and those of you that are really excited about all those changes we previewed in the last video, well, this patch is bringing him up to date. Fake Out has had its charges reduced from 2 to 1. The HP that the decoy has is 150. The decoy is now a fully running version of YORU and can only be sent running forwards. You can right click to place a stationary marker for the decoy. You reactivate the decoy similarly to footsteps to create the decoy that runs forward, and upon taking damage from an enemy gun, the decoy winds up, turns towards the enemy that shot it, and explodes after a short delay. Enemies within that cone are flashed. Gatecrash has had its charges increased from 1 to 2, it costs 200 credits, and it's had its cooldown charge refresh removed, and it's switched back to a 2-kill reset. Gatecrash can now be faked by pressing F while hovering over the beacon. A fake teleport will play audio and portal visuals as if YORU is attempting a teleport. The time it takes for teleport beacon has decreased from 1.5 to 0.5 seconds. Teleport beacon's in-game audio while traveling has been reduced from a 22.5 meter radius down to a 12.5 meter radius. And teleport beacon speed has been increased from 675 to 800. Upon activating a fake teleport, the beacon creates a small decal on the floor for 30 seconds to indicate the location of the fake teleport. Now in the preview we saw that YORU's ult Dimensional Drift got quite a few changes, and here are the details. Its duration has been increased from 8 seconds up to 10 seconds. YORU is not revealed to enemies at all. Unequipped delay time has been increased from 0.6 up to 1.2 seconds, so no more jumping out of your ult and surprising people with a shotgun. YORU is now able to cast all utility out of his ultimate, that's a big one, and YORU's footsteps can now be heard within 15 meters of YORU's location in his ult. They've added a cast delay to popping his ult as well, hoping to prevent the invulnerability frame on cast. Now next up, there's some map changes, and there's a small one to Ascent which I'll just read out now, and that's the B orb can now be taken from the lower box, and previously you had to double jump up to the box to try and get it. There have been a lot of quite extensive changes made to Icebox, and thankfully I've got a load of pictures here that will show you all the changes throughout the map. Most of them are happening on the B site, although there are a few changes to mid and A as well, and I'm just going to play these pictures for you of a before and after, because a picture tells 1,000 words and can show you all the changes way more effectively than I could just rambling on. So I hope you enjoy this, and I'll be back after the Icebox changes. Well, I hope you enjoyed the preview of the Icebox changes. Next up is a new feature that Riot call a deterministic map system. Now, currently in this patch, these changes are only going out to the Latin America region, and if it's successful, they'll move it to all the others. But here are the details of how it works should it come to your region. The deterministic map selection follows 3 rules when picking a map, after players have been selected to play a match. The system will look at all maps that players have played over the last 5 maps for that mode. The system will remove any maps that a player has played twice in the past 5 games, and the system will pick the least played map. If all maps have been removed due to the twice played rule, those maps will be added back to the pool and the least played map will be picked. So hopefully this means none of us will play the same map over and over and over again. Here's hoping it goes well and it gets added to all the other regions. Now, there were also some bug fixes and general changes in these patch notes. I'm not going to cover the bug fixes. I suggest you go and read the article for those, but I am just going to quickly detail the general changes here. They've improved the system used to place utilities at targeted ground locations. This update should make it easier to find valid placement locations in tight spaces. These are the abilities affected: Omen's Shrouded Step, Viper's Pit, Chamber's Trademark and Rendezvous, every Killjoy ability, Yoru's Gatecrash, and Sage's Barrier Orb. So, like I mentioned at the start, this was quite a big set of patch notes. I'm personally excited for how these changes will affect the controller role I end up playing Smokes, as I'm sure a lot of you do in your ranked matches, and I'm really looking forward to playing Icebox 2.0. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content from this channel, leave us a like, it really helps us out. I've been Eddie, and I'll see you guys next time.